Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another weekly Elliott Wave analysis for Bitcoin. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Just very quickly, if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. It really does help me pump out more of these videos, and the only way I can really gauge that is by you guys and girls showing interest in these videos. Thank you very much. Also, if you're interested in the Discord membership where I offer more in-depth analysis and my personal train of thought on how the markets function, please don't hesitate to reach out with the link in the description below. We also do offer a Patreon membership if you're interested in seeing more video updates twice a week, so both of those are available for everyone. So getting right into the analysis, we are still within possibly what could be the highest probability for me as a corrective structure to the downside. Now, the internal structures more or less has remained the same over the course of the week, with some added influence or confluence rather in terms of how the liquidity is being observed on the medium time frame. That could slightly change the way we see this corrective structure as a possible WXY, but overall this three-wave structure is pretty much remaining the same, as our overall target zone is around these levels here between 87,000 and 79,000. But overall, I think we are in finally what could be the final stretch before we look for more upside and finally give us a breather and break into the $100,000 regions and possibly beyond. This is great news for the bulls, but ultimately my views have not changed that this is going to be the last move for the cycle. Why? Because we are sticking with the original narrative that we are looking for a 5-wave move of the highest degree to complete in this overall cycle. The one in the blue count, the minuet count, as you can see here, we had series of 1-2s and series of 3-4s. And right now, what I believe is happening is that we're working in the highest degree 3-4, finally to be able to conclude this wave 5 of the highest degree. That will finally lead us to possibly concluding this bull market. Now, everyone doesn't want to hear that, but it is a very high possibility because the basic overall 5-wave Elliott structure is an impulse created as a 5-wave. So this isn't to scare anyone, because if you zoom out on the ultimate macro structure, like I said, it's pretty much not only on schedule, but also provides us with great opportunity if you're looking for that rhythmic approach on how Bitcoin has played out over the past decade. There can always be a first, and we can even change the counts to be even more bullish, but we have yet to see that being observed. So again, let's dive into what finally could be working for this conclusive wave 4, because we need to be focusing on a more bottom-up analysis approach before we look for how the macro is playing out. So how is this wave 4 playing out? Nothing has changed, right? So let's take a zoom in into how this 1-hour time frame is playing out. Again, from our previous video, fantastic job, everyone, if you did catch a short here. But overall, we were looking for this 5-wave move to conclude for the C wave into this B pocket expanded zone as a expanded flat, as a final wave B. And then we're looking for now what could be the conclusive wave C or wave W, or wave Y rather, if you're seeing this as a WXY, and we'll go over that count in just a moment. But overall, this idea is coming to fruition quite nicely. The highest probability is still towards the downside, just due to the fact that we did break not only this previous regional low, but overall, this distribution pattern right now could be helping us create what could be a wave 1-2 before we're looking for more downside. Now, it does help us, kind of go back and forth between an alternative scenario on the shorter time frames, and that's pretty much where the alternative scenarios start to come into play, because again, the overall structure on the macro structure, we didn't really have any alternative scenario. We were looking for downside ultimately no matter what, but we can create some alternative scenarios here. And the only real way I can do that is by creating a possible WXY, which helps us remove some of the possible lower targets being mitigated and removed, and we can be still working for a 1-to-1 target. Again, there are some people who may be seeing that this correction has ultimately completely finished because we are starting to finally see some kind of distribution being created. But in my opinion, since it's working so correctively, I still think that this is a transitional wave of a smaller wave. Again, we were talking about transitional waves over here, and this is just more of a smaller degree that we may be working in a transitional wave of the smaller degree. So what does this mean? Again, if you're seeing this wave completed, if you're seeing this as an ABC completely completed, which means that you're seeing this move here now being either beginning as some kind of impulse or some kind of motive wave going into a diagonal, I don't think that's really the case here, because if we take the Fibonacci trend extension of this partner leg here, and we're seeing this partner leg being matched with this current wave W or wave A, we haven't even met the 61.8% target at all. The 61.8% target, although it was reached, that is the minimum absolute target, rather. But what I meant to say is that we didn't hit the 100% target, and that is usually the minimum target that you would like to look for in terms of equality overall on how an ABC or a WXY structure is or playing out. But we haven't hit that. So that is why we're seeing this target here to help us kind of go back and forth to kind of give a breather for both the shorter time frame bulls and bears, that if we are working correctively to the upside for this possible WXY, for this move here, as we originally anticipated as it being a wave 1 or a wave 2, then this helps us create some kind of symmetry for this wave C, for wave Y rather, to help us create a partner like for this move here. So that will help us give us that overall achievement of going into that $87,000 region that we're looking for. So again, that is the minimum target that we're looking for this 100%. But can we go down here? Yes. If that's the case, then we're going to be anticipating it playing out as this, whereas the ABC, where this is now being treated as an impulse instead of an ABC. So it is kind of a trade-off between the two counts right now. But yeah, that is how I'm currently seeing the overall counts. Now, can we say that this wave 2 has already come into play, or a wave AB? I think so. We can even say that this is a WXY, saying that this right here, since we did create a technical high, we could even just say that this wave 2 is already in, and we could be working for a wave 3 to the downside right now. It really doesn't matter. The overall target we're looking for is between the 87,500, between the $79,000 region as well. If it moves down impulsively and it breaks the 100% region or 100% fib extension, then there's a really good chance that we're going to be working within this region over here as the overall target zone, not just here. This is just the overall minimum expectation that we're looking for as a target. So this is how we're looking at it. We're looking at it for a possible all the way down to even $79,000 levels, ladies and gentlemen. And that still gives us a relatively overall good look in terms of how we're going to be looking at it on the overall medium time frames, where we're seeing this wave 1, 2 alternate with this wave 3, 4 in terms of how this sharp structure is playing out. So it ultimately boils down to number 1, how fast the markets want to see this move to the downside. Number 2, how this distributes and whether this change in structure is going to be either as an ABC or a WXY. And number 3, where we get supported between the $87,000 and the $79,000 levels. So if we take all that into combination with the thoughts that I just told everyone, taking into consideration with the Fibonacci levels, the internal structures, and the fundamental approach of how distribution is being observed, we can really, step by step, take into what is more at higher probability for how this overall target is going to be achieved. And that's how we're going to be ultimately looking for either an ABC or a WXY to the downside, either as the 100% level or the 161.8% level. But like I said, the overall target zone is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a sharp characteristic of this higher degree wave 4. Then we can be looking for a move to the upside. That's how we're seeing it. Now, it would be very strange, in my opinion, to have this being complete here. It's not impossible. Like I said, we need to look for some kind of 5-wave move or some kind of motive wave, and I'll definitely make sure to keep an eye on that. But ultimately, it's really difficult to say that it's just complete right now because, again, we need to be assuming really with high conviction that the correction has completed. But again, in my opinion, the RSI is not really giving us any conclusion to that. Again, we saw a pretty wild wave between this, how this is playing out. But what you ultimately want to be looking for is not Bitcoin trading within this neutral range here. You really want to be, again, we wanted to see an impulse off the lows here when the RSI was really at its lowest. So what we're going to be looking for now is either a break to below this previous RSI range if we're seeing this as a wave 3 to the downside, then see another bounce on the RSI, come back down, and then on that wave 4 and wave 5, wave 3 and 5, we want to see a divergence being created here in that C wave. Then that will be the ultimate time-ticking boom that we're looking for to the upside. And that's exactly what we're not observing right now. We need to wait for how that's playing out. We're not seeing any kind of divergences being observed other than this move over here. But that is pretty much the only real observation I can make and kind of objective argument that I can make that we have completed completely for this wave 4, meaning that this wave 4 has ended already and we're now looking for some kind of possible diagonal of some sort. I don't think it's even a diagonal at this point, but yeah, we're looking for some kind of 5-wave move off of the lows, and it's really, at this point, it's not even really the case to me anymore. But that's how we're seeing it. And again, these are the last two scenarios, ladies and gentlemen. I think that we're either seeing this as a WXY. So let's summarize it. A WXY, an ABC, depends on how this distribution is going to be resolved. And then finally, zooming in even more between whether this is an AB or a wave 1-2 will ultimately be dependent on how fast this moves to the downside, breaking this 100% or not. And then lastly, if we zoom in even more, whether this WXY is complete or still working, then that is up to you as a trader on the shorter time frames. But we can have a technical WXY being complete here, or we're still working in a WXY to the upside, which has a little bit of a higher probability at this shorter time frame right now. So as you can see, you can be a bull on the extremely micro time frames, but a bear on the medium time frames and a bull on the macro time frame. And that's why I'm trying to give my best approach on how everyone can view this. So this could be a WXY. Then again, that will work pretty nicely. Even if we do move to the upside, still get rejected around this region over here and then $98,000 level, because it will give us a head and shoulders, like I said. And then the 61.8 is another confluence area anyways, right? So this, or we've already completed it. Really the only way I can see it. And either way, I'm content with both of them. So that's how we're going to look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of go back and see, or at least the last few minutes of this video, to understand the overall confluence, how it's organized, and how we can see from not only from Elliott Wave perspective, but from a distribution perspective, whether we're going to get rejected at certain levels, where we're going to get supported at certain levels. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, remember, please subscribe to the channel, Discord membership, Patreon membership. All the links are in the description below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you want to see more updates. I will possibly do more updates depending on how this is going to be playing. If we break this low, I'll probably do an update this week. If we go to this region over here during the week, I will probably do another update. So please make sure to hit that like button. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye bye.